Good evening, my name is Litia and I'm from the beautiful island of Laos and I love listening to Today FM. Today FM rock.
My name is Casey, I'm from Tabua. We love Today FM in Tabua. Today FM rocks.
My name is Selina, I'm from Tavenga Vengamba. I love listening to Today FM. Today FM rocks.
Pula, my name is Carlo. I love listening to the music in Today FM, in Malak Island. Today FM rock.
Today's hit music.
In the news tonight, mine accident claims man's life. Defense lawyers in Fiji Times case file no case to answer. And free Mensi vaccines arrive into the country tomorrow.
From the studios of FBC Suva, Jackie Spade.
It's a dark day for a family in Vatukola following the tragic incident of a 37-year-old who allegedly fell in a sinkhole at the Vatukola gold mine yesterday. The wife of the late Avinesh Ram, who is still in shock as she recalled the last phone call she had with her husband, was just a few minutes before tragedy struck. Philippe Naikaso with the story.
Poonam Kohli recalling the last conversation she had with her husband, and that was for her to make curry for dinner.
We had breakfast together and he advised me to make curry for him and he'll be back around 5:30. But he gave me a call around 9:15 that he is fine and he is going underground. And after that, I didn't receive any call.
The news came as a shock to this mother and son, as Avinesh had been working for 14 years at the mine.
I received from one of my relatives, and then I tried to get hold of the HR department to know as if it was the actual incident that has occurred. And then when I called the HR department, I was informed that yes, Mr. Avinesh was involved in an accident. And as soon as I got that information, I was really shocked because at around 9:15, he spoke to me via the phone that he is going underground and he's all right. But the incident occurred at 10 and I was informed at 1.
For this small family, coming to terms with the loss of their loved one will be really hard, as they've been married for at least 6 years now.
He was a very nice and a humble person. He never used to talk loudly or even beat me around. He was such a loyal and loving husband. And it's really sad for me that I used to hope that he will return home, but he didn't. He left my 3-year-old son behind.
A thorough investigation is currently being carried out by the Mineral Resources Department to ascertain the cause of the incident. A board of inquiry is also expected to meet this Saturday. Mining has also ceased in the particular area where the tragic incident happened. Philippe Naikaso, FBC News.
The defense counsels in the sedition trial involving 3 Fiji Times staff and a writer informed the Suva High Court this morning that they will file a no case to answer application. Writer Chosai Wangambada, Naila Lakai editor Anare Ravula, editor-in-chief Red Wesley and publisher Hank Arts are on trial charged with sedition and aiding and abetting. Defence lawyers Wiley Clark, Aman Ravindra Singh, Devanesh Sharma and Mark Corlett all informed court they will individually file the no case to answer application, which will be heard tomorrow.
The defence counsels this morning said that there is no evidence put by the prosecution that shows any intention of recklessness by the Fiji Times. The defence counsels also said that there is no evidence of element of the offence. Suva High Court Judge Justice Tushara Rajasinghe gave time to defence until this afternoon and the prosecution lawyer Lee Burney until tomorrow morning to file their submissions. Wangambada is charged with 1 count of sedition, and it is alleged that between 20th and 27th April 2016, he did a seditious act and submitted an article in the Naila Lakai newspaper which could have caused an ill will and hostility between the population of Fiji, particularly the Muslims and the non-Muslims. Ravula is charged with 1 count of aiding and abetting, and it is alleged that he aided Arts to publish an article which was a seditious publication. Wesley is charged with 1 count of aiding and abetting, and it is alleged that he aided Arts to publish an article which was a seditious publication. Arts is charged with 1 count of sedition, and it is alleged that he published an article on 27th April which could have caused an ill will and hostility between the population of Fiji, particularly the Muslims and the non-Muslims. The no case to answer submission will be heard tomorrow. Pranita Prakash, FBC News.
The first batch of the meningococcal vaccine, which will be distributed free to Fijians, will arrive into the country tomorrow. Due to the high demand for vaccines around the world, the Ministry of Health managed to procure more than 100,000 doses of vaccine for the first batch of the immunization program. Ali Kimbia with the story.
Good news for the people of Fiji, with the Health Ministry expected to start their meningococcal immunization program soon with the arrival of the vaccines, and they have done this without any delay.
So there has been no delays in the response and the rollout, the procurement and rollout of the program. And as what Madam Minister has mentioned, tomorrow the first batch is arriving in country.
The Health Ministry has confirmed that the immunization program will start on the 14th of this month, and the ministry had to go out of their way to procure the vaccines.
There are systems, there are processes involved when we try to procure, and when we procure this vaccination on a mass scale, believe me, ladies and gentlemen, it becomes a very, very complicated process.
People under the age of 19 will be vaccinated, as this is the age group facing the highest risk of getting the disease.
So they are definitely our most at-risk group in terms of who has been getting sick. All of the deaths this year have been in children under the age of 5. So we know in particular children under the age of 5 are vulnerable. Therefore, we are having the vaccine for that group because we know they're at most risk.
The Health Ministry says Fijians who are not in the allocated age group who want to be vaccinated will have to purchase the vaccine. Ali Kimbia, FBC News.
The Fiji Law Society has raised its concern over the proposed online safety bill and its current form. Making their submissions to the Standing Committee on Justice, Law and Human Rights yesterday afternoon, the Law Society said the bill is not ready. Akosita Tale with more details.
This is a very good bill, but it is not ready.
The Fiji Law Society recommends the online safety bill needs to be more specific and address other online behavioral problems.
The bill is to promote safety online culture and environment, and also specifies cyberbullying, cyber stalking. But when you go through the bill, you do not see these definitions littered in the bill itself.
The Law Society highlighted the bill should also include corporate bodies and legal entities be considered as a national person that can lodge complaints.
Do you have any suggestions of what sort of harm may be caused to a corporate body by electronic communication?
You should be able to have organizations that see that there's something going wrong here, and that person or that organization should be able to go forward and report this.
The Law Society also questioned the creation of a separate online safety commission, as the bill doesn't specifically specify its role. Akosita Tale, FBC News.
High Court Judge Justice Salesi Temo will sum up Timothy Lolohe's alleged murder case next Monday. This is after both defense and prosecution presented their closing submissions at the Suva High Court today. Anna Ravulo reports.
In her closing submission, prosecution lawyer Siteri Navia said that all evidence presented in court showed that on the 20th of March 2017 at Nasilivata Road in Landera, Lolohe went with an intention to kill Eleanor Ndidovi. Navia said when Ndidovi was attacked, she only had her hands to protect herself. She adds that Ndidovi had a right to move on and get a new job, but Lolohe did not have the right to kill her. Navia said that Lolohe cannot blame what he encountered during his tours overseas to justify his actions. She mentioned that jealousy is a spice in any relationship, but when it gets too much, it is poisonous, and Lolohe's case is an example of this. Meanwhile, Defense Counsel Lisiathan Getaki informed the court that people grow up in different backgrounds, places and lifestyles, and it is usually the way people live determines who they are. Getaki said that Lolohe is nothing but a normal human being, and assessors must remember that Lolohe lived only in a military lifestyle. He adds that how can they find Lolohe guilty of murder if he wasn't in his right state of mind, and they must understand what was going through his mind. Lolohe is charged with one count of murder. It is alleged he murdered his de facto partner Eleanor Ndidovi at Nasilivata Road, Landera on the 20th of March last year. Lolohe has been further remanded. Anna Ravulo, FBC News.
Still to come, Fiji Labour Party names first batch of provisional candidates, and Fijian journalists celebrate Media Freedom Day. Stay with us.
Bula, kera mai singatoka, kera ndo tali taka na varorong na Radio Fiji 1 and Domoy Viti.
Ayaw na rin siya. Usi kuminasong sekolah ndo tali taka na Radio Fiji 1 kina Domoy Viti.
Kaya kuyazo sila tali, nagurara may naomanyi, nandunga. Gitu tali tajiri ang gitu Venezuela, nagudurong varorong na Radio Fiji 1 na Domoy Viti.
Na Radio Fiji 1 na Domoy Viti na ponga ni BNN.
The Fiji Labour Party today announced its first 17 provisional candidates for the upcoming general elections. Party leader Mahendra Chaudhry says the candidates have shown great interest and courage to contest on the FLP ticket.
The 17 provisional candidates include lawyer Aman Ravindra Singh, former MP Lavanya Padharat, Monica Raghavan and Surendra Lal.
One of the essential requirements in the Labour Party. We don't want gutless people. If you can't defend the truth, if you can't speak out for justice, for democracy, for human rights, then you have no place in the Fiji Labour Party.
Some of the provisional candidates have revealed what their focus will be in order to win a ticket to Parliament.
We'll be focusing on employment for locals, not overseas. Like as Mr. Chaudhry said earlier on, that government is getting up people from overseas to come into the work in Fiji. So I will be trying to stop bringing people from overseas and get our people to do the work here.
I will mainly focus on the restoration of workers' rights in Fiji and women's human rights.
The Fiji Labour Party failed to win a single seat in the last elections in 2014. Kritika Kumar, FBC News.
Due to the heavily populated social media presence in Fiji, the role of a journalist is crucial now than ever. The levels of incorrect or fake news on social media have rocketed. Hence, journalists need to be at the forefront of bringing facts to the masses. Rachel Nath reports as we celebrate World Media Press Freedom Day, the Fiji media believe traditional media will remain at core of information dissemination.
Journalists are encouraged to always pursue their roles with facts and passion above all else.
Misinformation increasing day by day, and some people say that it's a bad thing, but for journalists they should turn it around and say, well, this is where I can make a difference. This is where the voice should be the loudest and clearest with the facts and figures to say this is what's actually happening.
Every day you hear, read and watch journalists tell other people's stories. But today celebrates journalists who get to tell their stories.
Has been challenging. Young reporters coming into the field, changes in government, but that does not stop you from giving your best and be the voice of the people.
We are human beings, we all are part of this public, the community, and sometimes the incidences which affect us, affect the general public, we really get attached to it. We are fathers, we are mothers, we are brothers, we are sisters.
Fijians are also reminded by journalists to opt for credible facts before believing unfounded information available on social media.
We have a media decree, media act that we follow that sets boundaries on how we must produce stories. Whereas in social media, the stories are coming out when and wherever, and nobody will be taken to task whether it's factual.
It's absolutely important that a lot of these things that appear on social media are corrected, so that people get not only well, they get well informed.
World Press Freedom Day serves as a reminder to all on the challenges faced by journalists around the world. There may be some who have lost faith in journalism, but for journalists, it's about pursuing the facts to bring you credible news. Rachel Nath, FBC News.
New Zealand employers have shown interest to employ an additional 18 workers from Levuka under the recognised seasonal workers scheme. Employers have expressed their interest to the Fijian delegation who are currently in New Zealand, headed by the Permanent Secretary for Employment Vilimonem Balendrokandroka. Savara Tambor reports.
20 men from the old capital are currently employed by Mr. Apple and Bostock Company in New Zealand respectively. According to the Permanent Secretary for Employment, Vilimonem Balendrokandroka, Good performance by the existing workers has prompted the employers to have more Fijians work on their farms.
Yeah, that's really good. I mean, particularly to have that turnaround from employers, because it's employer driven. So once the employers are happy with what the boys are doing, there is a likely chance of an increase in numbers.
The delegation also includes the Turanga Tuilebuka Ratu Etonia Sero. Minister for Employment Johnny Usamate has revealed the current selection criteria for seasonal workers is working well.
We have a fixed number of places that are available for people from the Pacific. Our numbers continue to rise that we are sending to New Zealand, and I think that shows that the system that we are now using, we are getting people from rural and maritime, getting them vetted by their own communities, making sure that they pass their medical and fitness tests. We only allow those people through that seems to be working. So our numbers are growing.
The ministry is working very closely with district reps, village chiefs and rural advisory councillors to select the right kind of people from the settlements and village to work in Australia and New Zealand. Sabera Tambua, FBC News.
Turning to world news, a U.S. military cargo plane has crashed in Savannah, Georgia, off a highway near the Savannah Hilton Head International Airport. There were 9 crew members on board when the plane crashed.
This was the view from a surveillance camera today as a military C-130 fell out of the Georgia sky, nosedived into the ground, and burst into a ball of flames and smoke.
A military jet crashed across both lanes of the road, black smoke.
The massive cargo plane missed crashing into the Savannah International Airport.
Holy all right, time to get out of here.
It came down over busy roads and train tracks nearby, knocking out power to the area.
As far as we know, there were no cars hit in this crash. It is an absolute miracle at that time of day and that intersection.
No drivers on the ground were hurt, but there were several service members on board. And tonight, the Air Force confirms that at least 5 are dead. They were on their way to Arizona.
Anytime we lose any of our brothers and sisters in arms, it's devastating. And something we'd never like to have happen.
Roads in and around the Savannah airport are still closed tonight and could be closed for weeks as military investigators try to figure out what went wrong.
Because a 4-engine airplane dropped out of the sky in a bright blue sunny day, they're going to be looking at mechanical problems. This is a real mystery that something so reliable could have had such a catastrophic ending.
The plane belongs to the Puerto Rican National Guard and was a lifeline to the Caribbean during last year's devastating hurricane season, delivering food and generators to families in need.
In sports later with Jamie, he will have all the latest from the day, but for now we join Rachel with business.
Thanks, Jackie. Good evening, and coming up in business tonight, FNPF Expo hailed a success. And in Growing Fiji, we have the details about Langi Langi housing plans. Stay with us.
मैं प्रेमिला वायरुकु रेकी रेकी से सुबह मेरी आँख खुलती है तो मैं मिर्ची FM सुनती हूँ. मिर्ची FM is number 1. It's so hot.
हम लोग बार टाउन के कैरियर ड्राइवर लोगों ने हम लोग के मिर्ची FM सुनो अच्छा लगे. मिर्ची FM is hot.
हाय, मैं संध्या नारियल रेफ्रिकी से मेरे सारे दोस्त मिर्ची FM सुनते हैं. मिर्ची FM is hot. I love मिर्ची FM.
हमें स्पिन तो हुआ कि मिर्ची FM में सबसे अच्छा गाना बजे.
मिर्ची FM, it's hot.
Leading business tonight, around 3,000 individuals visited the Fiji National Provident Fund's Retirement Expo last week to get the right advice on how they can save for their retirement. The expo was rolled out by the Reserve Bank of Fiji, FNPF, and the Pacific Financial Inclusion Program under the banner of the Financial Literacy Working Group in an effort to educate and create awareness on saving and retirement planning. Statistics from the FNPF last year revealed that 73% of its members had a balance of $10,000 or less. This prompted the urgency for the awareness. And Sharon joins us now with the latest from the financial world.
Thank you. A quick look at the markets. A big surprise came in for Australia during the day as they showed better than expected trade balance figures. Their trade surplus rose in March, beating estimates and reaching its highest in almost a year of 1.53 billion Aussie. Both their imports and exports increased by 1%. Meanwhile, New Zealand's commodity prices dipped from previous 1.2% to 1% in April. In other news, the United States Federal Reserve left their interest rates unchanged at 1.75%, a move that was widely expected. The Fed officials reiterated that it plans to continue to raise rates gradually because inflation is said to have moved close to its target range. And that's the update for now. Vinaka.
Thanks, Sharon. Taking a look at today's currency exchange rate set this morning for the Fijian dollar. Our dollar made gains against 5 of the currencies we cover, rising against the Chinese yuan, the US and New Zealand dollars, as well as the euro and the Japanese yen. As for the commodities market, all were up, with oil prices closing at $67.75 a barrel. Gold closed at $1,308 per ounce, and silver closed at $16.45 an ounce. And in growing Fiji tonight, as the Langi Langi housing second phase is ready to be rolled out, the People's Community Network has plans for applicants who fail to get a unit. PNC says their plans include giving successful applicants a 3-acre lot together with a house in Lomaivuna and Vanua Kula in Neitasiri for agriculture purposes. It says these houses will target low-income earners, especially those living in squatter settlements. Meanwhile, names of successful applicants for the Langi Langi housing second phase will be announced soon. And that's business for tonight. Jamie joins you now with sports.
Thanks, Rachel, and good evening in sports tonight. Cricket players issued full-time contracts. And French Top 14 Shield on show in Fiji. This and more coming up.
मैं प्रेमिला वायरुकू रेकी रेकी से सुबह मेरी आँख खुलती है तो मैं मिर्ची एफएम सुनती हूँ। मिर्ची एफएम इज नंबर 1, इट्स सो हॉट।
हम लोग बार टाउन के कैरियर ड्राइवर लोगों ने हम लोग के मिर्ची एफएम सुनो अच्छा लगे। मिर्ची एफएम इज हॉट।
हाय, मैं संध्या नारिया रेकी से मेरे सारे दोस्त मिर्ची एफएम सुनते हैं। मिर्ची एफएम इज हॉट। आई लव मिर्ची एफएम।
हमें स्पिन टॉक हुआ कि मिर्ची एफएम में सबसे अच्छा गाना बजे।
मिर्ची एफएम, इट्स हॉट।
For the first time in Cricket Fiji's history, players are being contracted to play the sport they love. Cricket Fiji says the move is not only great for player welfare, but also the development of the sport. Eroni Tuinuku with the details.
The concept of contracting local players is so that they can rely on the sport to help them on and off the pitch.
Well, the contract system was put in place this year to assist players in terms of their financial, for players that most of our players coming from the Lau group, so they go through a lot of challenges staying with family and distant family members and finding busway to come to the grounds. And
earning $160 a week will be a starting point for these cricketers.
No, they will be paid on a weekly basis. Money will be deposited directly into their accounts. We'll cover all the travel expenses will be paid on a weekly basis as well. So
meanwhile, Cricket Fiji General Manager Setoki Ngaluvakanduo says developing its players to be the first in the sports is also their priority.
To motivate them and also encourage them to continue playing cricket. As you know, that we have other sports also looking at our players.
5 local cricketers signed their contract this week, whereas 5 more to be included in August after the ICC East Asia Pacific Sub-Regional World T20 qualifier that will be held right here at the Albert Park in Suva. Eroni Tuinuku, FBC Sports.
Fiji Airways men's sevens veteran Isake Katunimbao says while the team is on break, they won't really be sitting idly at home waiting for camp to resume. Katunimbao, who has won 2 consecutive tournaments with the national team since making a return to the side, says players have their part to play before they return to full training sessions next week.
When I say rest, it's not total rest, it's you call it active rest. You have to rest, however you have to do a little bit of training like stretching and swimming. those kind of small training that we call active rest.
The most prized trophy in French rugby is currently in Fiji. The modern-day replica of the top 14 shield, which was first played for in the French Rugby Union Domestic League in 1892, has been brought to Fiji by the French Embassy. Former Flying Fijian Seremai Mbai, who won the shield twice during his 10-year career in France, told FBC Sports how important the shield is to French club rugby players.
In France, as they say, if you haven't won the top 14, it seems like you don't win the championship at all if you're playing in France. But in saying that, you know, we should be very grateful and thankful that the Bouclier is here.
After 2 years out of the local boxing scene, Fiji-based Ghanaian Joseph Kwajo will make his comeback at the best boxing promotions in Nandi this weekend. While he admits it's been a long time coming, the former Australasian super middleweight champion says he looks forward to proving his worth when he takes on Jacob Kali of Vanuatu on Saturday. Meili Tavanga reports.
After being missing from the local boxing ring since 2016, Joseph Kwajo is back with more hunger.
My fans, because they've been waiting for so long, most of the time they come to the gym when we're going to see you again. So I think this is a time, you know, they're going to turn up to see, is it the same Kwajo or different Kwajo?
Kwajo, who just recovered from injuries sustained in a 2017 accident, says this bout is a chance for him to prove himself again.
I was born ready, so I can't wait for this Saturday because every day I'm trying to find out how I'm going to come back strong. So this is a chance for me to, you know, to prove myself again.
Promoter Hasmod Ali says the main bout between Kwajo and Kali will be entertaining.
Kwajo has been in gym training very well, and Kali has spent 1 week with him. He's been really training very hard for this fight, and it's a comeback for Kali.
Kwajo has 23 wins and 11 losses so far, while Kali is on 15 wins and 4 losses. There will be 7 supporting bouts with a program taking place at Prince Charles Park in Nandi, starting at 4:30 p.m. Saturday. Meili Tavanga, FBC Sports.
It's back to the drawing board for the Lautoka football side as they prepare to take on Team Wellington in the first leg of the OFC Champions League final next weekend. Lautoka President Abdul Qadar says the 1-0 win over Marist FC is now history and players are now working towards their next goal.
We'll go and walk into our plan and we will play the 2 finals. It's not over yet. When the final whistle will be held in Lautoka, then it's all over. So we will try to prepare our game when it comes to.
Liverpool are through to the Champions League final after beating Roma 4-2 today to win its semi-final 7-6 on aggregate. Thousands of supporters who attended the game arrived by bus after being warned not to walk there. The game was heavily policed after violence broke out in last week's first leg. The Special Olympics Fiji Regional Games ended on a high note with more than 300 athletes from around the region taking part. Fiji Paralympic coach Fred Fatiaki has praised the event for allowing athletes a chance to showcase their abilities. Luciana Tangithakembao reports.
The Special Olympics Fiji Regional Games gave athletes a chance to prove themselves.
It's a good eye-opener for the young athletes, especially for students with IH and people who really need this competition in terms of Special Olympics. And it's a very good move for the organization itself, and I hope that everything will fall into place in years to come in terms of Special Olympics in Fiji.
Paralympic coach Fred Fatiaki says the last 2 days showed improvement.
Beginning till today, I think the performance they're getting better, and with more competitions like this, locally and overseas, I'm sure our athletes here in Fiji and in the region will perform to the best of their ability.
Gold medalist Semi Rukulawe says he hopes to represent Fiji in the World Olympics.
I look forward that I came next week for the next year's for expectations.
Meanwhile, by the end of this week, Special Olympics Fiji will announce the development squad to compete in the World Special Olympics in Abu Dhabi next year. Luciana Tangithakimbao, FBC Sports.
That's it from Sports Tonight. Angie joins you later on with weather, and in the world of the weird and the wonderful, a look at historic Chinese tea. That's coming up.
Bula, kera mai singatoka, kera ndo talita kana varorong na Radio Fiji 1 and Domoy Viti.
Ayaw na rin siya. Usi kombinasyon mo bola ndo talita kana Radio Fiji 1 kina Domoy Viti.
Ayaw ko azo silil tale, nagurara may nawamanyi, nandunga. Gitu talita gini ang gitu pinasibali, nagudurong barong na Radio Fiji 1.
In new media tonight, despite rumors of a slowdown in iPhone sales, Apple's earnings reports has revealed record profits for the company. And it's weather time now with Angie.
Hello there and welcome to the Weather World. What an amazing day to experience. The sun was absolutely beautiful and it was accompanied by cool breezes. Now most of us must be relieved now that the weather has cleared. The weekend looks promising. We'll get to that. Now let's see what the west was like today. So basically the sun was out and about, a very bright day. Eastwards from Pekhaba to Suva, more of sun with gentle breezes. And up north, a cool one with cloudy intervals. At sea, southerly winds gusting to 35 knots with moderate to rough seas. For the tides, high tide is at 8:51 p.m. with low tide at 2:38 a.m. Sunrise at 6:21. For tomorrow, who doesn't like this day? It's Friday and the weather is looking all clear and good. Tomorrow's temps, all centers will be in the high 20s. And looking further on to Saturday, clear spells are likely to continue, so let's get weekend plans rolling. And that's all from the FBC Weather World. Jackie.
Thanks so much for that, Angie. In Fiji and Pulse tonight, we asked that, being that this is Media Freedom Day, we asked journalists from the FBC newsroom on why they enjoy being a journalist.
What do I love about being a journalist? I love that every day we walk in and discover new stories. Every day it's something unpredictable. Every day you don't know what to expect.
What I love of being a journalist is it's because I get to visit new places and also get to meet new people, and also at the same time you have a responsibility to undertake, and that is to get information and to ensure that it's credible information, and also to inform the public of what's really happening.
What I love about being a journalist is that I get to hear other people's stories and also travel new places, and it's quite interesting and challenging at the same time.
Journalist is not an 8-to-5 job. What I love being a journalist is the day-to-day work. You meet different people, you do different stories about different things, you help touch people's lives, and you make an impact in the different societies out there.
Well, I love being a journalist because I get to meet new people, and I get to face different challenges day by day, which makes my work as a journalist more exciting.
What I love about being a journalist is that I get to be the bearer of news, sometimes good, most times bad news, but I get, and as well as being the voice of the people, mostly those who don't get a chance to speak out about the issues that we face on a daily basis.
I love being a journalist because we bring you the news as and when it happens.
Recapping the main stories for tonight, mine accident claims man's life. Defence lawyers in Fiji Times case file no case to answer. And free MinC vaccines arrive into country tomorrow. Now for these stories and others, you can tune in daily to our sister radio station Gold FM. To our poll question segment, we're asking, are you going to take up the offer of getting shares in EFL? Visit our FBC website to answer. Before we go, our shot of the day, sent in by Isaac. This was taken at Wailolo Beach. Remember, you can send us newsworthy pictures and videos on email fbcnews@fbc.com.fj or share it with us via Facebook page FBC News. You can also follow and tweet us your news tips at FBC_news or simply hashtag FBC News. That was your FBC News for tonight. From the team and I, stay safe. Good night.
Varorong na Radio Fiji 1 and Domoy Viti.
Ayaw na rin siya. Usi ko minasong Butikola untuk talita na Radio Fiji 1 kina Domoy Viti.
Ayaw ko yazo sila tale. Nagurara may nawamanyi. Nando nga. Gitu talita gini ang gitu Venezuela po nagpunto rongo. Varorong na Radio Fiji 1 na Domoy Viti.
Na Radio Fiji 1 na Domoy Viti na po ang ni BNN.